Nigeria, of course, in mourning as former President Muhammadu Buhari has, of course, passed away, which was broken. The news was broken on the Arise News channel. In a hospital in London, front page of today's This Day newspaper, Nigeria's newspaper of record, of course, pays tribute, as have other dailies across the country. I mean, for us, on the business side, we are looking at his economic policies. We're happy to have Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu to join us in the studio to get his take. I mean, we talked a lot about Buhari's policies while, of course, he was alive. Chika, you're welcome. Good morning to you, sir.
Otis, how are you today?
Fine, thank you. Good to have you in the studio.
Yeah, it's sad time for the country.
Yeah.
And bear with me. And I think it was William Shakespeare in Julius Caesar wrote that says the cowards die many times before they're dead. I said the violent never tastes death but once. And of all the ones that I've ever seen, it seems most sincere why men fear death. Seems like it's a necessary end, which will come for everyone like you and me when it will come.
Of course.
And then I think Plutarch also said, no one can escape his destined end. So Buhari has come. He's done his own, and is gone.
Yeah.
And whenever you speak after somebody dies, you're naturally addressing the person that is dead, because the person is dead and buried, or that's going to be buried, and he doesn't hear anything we're going to say. The funeral service or funeral talks are usually for those who are living, and for us is anything we're going to say is based on those who are living.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So the highest duty of a ruler is to protect the liberty and the welfare of his citizens. That's the expectation of a ruler. And they say that no ruler exists except the power has come from God. And so for all of us, it says it's appointed for us to die but once, and after that our judgment.
You're sounding like a pastor.
It's turn by turn, you know. But here we are, Otis. We want to talk about the Buhari years.
Yeah.
8 years, consecutively in the life and history of Nigeria. I personally, I don't know whether I'm the best person to talk about this, because I've not been a very good fan of those 8 years. I've described those 8 years several times in this program as the locust years of Nigeria, the cankerworm years of Nigeria, and that Nigeria was basically facing Ibadan from Benin to Ibadan and driving the car backwards. Instead of heading towards Benin from Ibadan, we're moving backwards, and that is. But I mean, you've heard me say in this program several times also that our problem is not planning.
It's execution.
Execution. Because, sincerity in execution. Even the politicians that come to power don't need to carry any all these campaign things. If you just go and carry the plans that Nigeria already has put in place and execute them sincerely and transparently, our country will go to this. So various sectors. I mean, infrastructure. Buhari worked on roads.
Yep.
He did on rails.
Yep.
Even bridges, the Onitsha Bridge, has to his name his credit, and airport upgrade also worked on that. Government is continuing. That was started from the Good Luck era, but he finished them.
Yeah.
The roads, the juries are still out. Rail, some of the projects are still, not completed.
Yeah.
Along with Mr. Amechi, who was is transport minister and the champion of that. Anti-corruption, as a recovery. He worked with the EFCC on that.
Yeah.
Of course, the question mark again on that. Even though a lot of money was recovered, we didn't know what a lot of money was. Some of the money were also restolen, and then, allegedly, stolen, and also there have been issues of selective that.
Yeah.
Social welfare was an area that Buhari the Buhari regime, the 8 years, had a lot of push.
Yeah.
All these empower things, cash transfers, school feeding. And we used to remember all those times we used to see the vice president then, Oshibajo, going around the markets giving money. But usually
trader money.
Yeah. They used to do during the election period and after election, so they get their question marks as to the efficacy of that. As I tell you, it's not the issue of the policies. The issue is the sincere implementation of them. Agriculture, the Anchor Borrowers Program, the rice.
We talked a lot about that.
Rice revolution. Now again,
memories.
Yeah. Jury is also out. I mean, the issue, the money that has been given by central bank, out to these Anchor borrowers. Substantial amounts of them are not being recovered. And then, if the program succeeded, why are we still importing rice the way we are importing rice? Security initially came with that general this thing about Boko Haram because security is tied to economy. Especially for Nigeria. The economy, you had this ERGP plan, Finance Acts, tax reforms. Legislation, the petroleum we talked about here.
The Petroleum Industry Act.
That's to his credit. And we thank him because he pushed that. That thing has been on the burner for almost 10 years. And people didn't have a good way to do that. This economy, foreign relations, oil and gas, talked about modular refineries, organic issues. Now, the other thing that we have here is
the other side of the coin.
The other side of the coin. And, you talk about the other side of the coin always. You want to talk about that.
Yes.
Other Buhari's
Your list is long.
No. Don't do that to me.
Oh, sorry.
Don't do that to me, please. Don't do that to me, please. We are very kind to our president, especially as the Madam Aisha has asked that we should be very kind to him and forgive him his failings. Because if Buhari failed, it means from people like Oshibajo and everybody around him also failed because they all worked in the same team. So none of them can go out with their claiming accolades. So we'll look at the government in total. Recession and slow growth during his time. First of all, remember a lot of us were calling Baba go slow.
Exactly.
Even with the way he started.
The cabinet.
Right. It took a long time for that. And then I had, in this program, I said that somebody would have thought that with the time it took to select the cabinet, he would have selected the best 11.
Right.
That would have, like Chelsea beating...
Your football analogy.
Would have beaten PSG yesterday. But when the list came out, it was all second 11 that were on the list. So we were wondering why it took such a long time to select that. The session, two recessions during his tenure. Did he cause them? Did not cause them? Whatever is out there, but it happened during his tenure.
Exactly.
COVID-19 played a role. Or issue played a role, but the issue they were prepared for them. Currency devaluation and FS crisis, major thing during his tenure.
You talked about that a lot.
And during that 8 years, we had issues of we had this misfortune of being number one from behind. The war, poverty, capital. Highest infant mortality, highest pregnancy, everything that was there. Unemployment rose to historic highs, during his tenure, and of course we have the issues of insecurity. I don't want to talk about that. Slow decision making of centralization, ethnic and regional bias in allegiance. We talked about that. I mean, it was a weak anti-corruption resource, even though he would say this is positive for him, but the issue again was found that efforts were seen selective and politically motivated, and of course the issues of poor handling of youths and protest movement. I'm sure you did that during the political side. And then of course we talk about the fact that people say that the presidency is not about the boxing match, but we believe that 200 million Nigerians, more than how many tribes, 36 states of the country. Many things happening requires a president who is very strong and agile, from the mentally agile, physically agile, and stuff like that. So Buhari's major problem also was poor health and frequent absences. He spent 200 days abroad on medical leave, creating leadership vacuums, and raising concern about transparency. We're wondering about sometimes whether it was him or he knew about what was happening. Debt was a major issue for us in the economic side.
That's right.
Public debt rose from 12 trillion in 2015 to about 44 trillion when he was leaving. And debt servicing therefore consumed a lot of very disproportionate part of the revenue. And then lack of institutional reforms, that he promised. He promised restructuring but it didn't happen. And then, of course, there was communication deficit and then leadership disconnects. So while he made efforts on the infrastructure, and maintained a reputation of personal integrity.
Yes, that's true. He was, he was a clean president.
His administration was, ultimately marred by economic hardship, insecurity, ethnic division, slow governance, and poor communication. These weaknesses, my brother I put out, they have significantly shaped Nigeria's development trajectory during his time in office, and it led to a lot of things we're suffering now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the numbers are the numbers, so that's why we have you here, and I guess it's a lesson for future leaders to...
as I told you, we speak, when we talk about the dead, it's not, the dead doesn't hear us.
Right.
It's for those now, starting from the president in power, to the Senate, to the House of Rep people, to the judiciary, to the state governors, to the legislatures. Because at the end of the day, we're all working now, buying those cars. After time, you may not be able to enter your private jet unless you're carrying a wheelchair.
Exactly.
No matter how long you want to live. Time really is enemy.
Of all of us.
All of us. Enemy of all of us.
All right, business correspondent Chika Mbonu with some preaching, some poetry, some Shakespeare, some words from the Bible, and of course, economic analysis. That's why we have him on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.